in the center of the room, clamped to an upright easel, stood 好怪 easel clamped to an upright easel stood the full-length portrait of the young man. The full-length portrait of a young man of extraordinary personal beauty, and in front of it, some little distance away, was sitting the artist himself. The artist himself, Basil Howard, whose sudden disappearance some years ago caused, at the time, such public excitement, and gave rise to so many strange conjectures. In the center of the room, clamped to an upright easel, stood the full-length portrait of the young man of extraordinary personal beauty, and in front of it, some little distance away, was sitting the artist himself, Basil Howard, whose sudden disappearance some years ago caused, at the time, such public excitement and gave rise to so many strange conjectures. As the painter looked at the grasses,好小一点，好大。grasses， 亲切的。As the painter looked at the gracious and comely form he had so skillfully mirrored in his art, a smile of pleasure passed across his face and seemed about to linger there. linger， 而且久久不愿。But he suddenly started up, and closing his eyes, placed his fingers upon the lids, as though he sought to imprison within his brain some curious dream, from which he feared he might awake. As the painter looked at the gracious and comely form he had. As the painter looked at the gracious and comely form he had, so skillfully mirrored in his art. A smile of pleasure passed across his face. A smile of pleasure passed across his A smile of pleasure passed across his face, and seemed about to linger there. As the painter looked at the gracious and comely form he had so skillfully mirrored in his art, a smile of pleasure passed across his face, and seemed about to linger there. 好难啊。As the painter looked at the gracious and comely form he had so skillfully mirrored in his art, a smile of pleasure passed across his face, and seemed about to linger there. But he suddenly started up, and closing his eyes, placed his fingers upon the lids, as though he sought to imprison within his brain some curious dream, from which he feared he might awake. He feared he might awake. It is your best work, Basil. It is your best work, Basil. The best thing you have ever done, said Lord Henry languidly, languidly, 软弱无力的 languid, weak, languid. You must certainly send it next year to the Grosvenor. Grosvenors. Grosvenor. The academic is too large and too vulgar and too vulgar. What is it? Oh, vulgar, and too vulgar. Whenever I have gone there have been either so many people that I have not been able to see the pictures, which was dreadful, or so many pictures that I have not been able to see the people, which was worse. The Grosvenor is really the only place. I don't think I shall send it anywhere. He answered, tossing his head back, 露出来，抛出来 tossing his head back, head back in that odd way, 正确的剩余 in that odd way that used to make his friend laugh at him at Oxford. No, I won't send it anywhere. Lord Henry elevated his eyebrows and looked at him in amazement through the thin blue. Where's, where's, what is it? Wrath, 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 wrath. Wreath, the thin blue wreath of smoke that curled. Curled, 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 curly, curled up in such fanciful what? Fanciful what? 奇怪的螺纹 fanciful 圆圈 fanciful whirls 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 fanciful whirls from his heavy opium opium no opium tainted 什么意思？哦，好吧 cigarettes not sending anywhere? My dear fellow, why? Have you any reason? What odd chaps you pandas are. 划线打问号 You did anywhere. Anywhere? 画架 portrait 房间的中央支着笔直的画架，画架上夹着一幅笔直的画架，画架上夹着一幅全身画像，画像中的年轻人美貌惊人。画像前不远的地方正坐着画家本人巴兹尔·霍华德。巴西尔·霍华德。几年前，他的突然失踪曾在公众间引起极大兴趣，也招致了各色奇怪的猜测。画家打量着自己精心创作的清奇俊美的艺术形象，脸上浮起得意的微笑，似乎沉醉其中。但他突然受惊一般跳起，闭上眼睛，用手指捂住，仿佛要把某个奇特的梦锁在脑中，唯恐自己从中一下醒来。受惊一般突然跳起 ，stand up。这是你最好的作品，巴兹尔，你所有作品中最好的一幅，带着些许倦意。这是你最好的作品，巴兹尔，你所有作品中最好的一幅。亨利勋爵说，带着些许倦意。 明天一定要把它送到格罗夫纳画廊去。皇家艺术学院太大也太俗，每次我到那儿，要么人多的看不见画，那当然很糟糕；要么画多的看不见人，那更糟。格罗夫纳画廊的确是唯一值得送去的地方。我可不想把画送去什么地方。巴兹尔答道。他向后甩着头。哦，他向后甩着头。奇怪的样子可是当年牛津朋友们的笑料。不，哪儿也不送。亨利勋爵眉毛一挑，透过淡淡的蓝色烟圈，吃惊地看着巴兹尔。烟正从掺有大量鸦片的香烟中冒出来，升起奇异的螺旋形烟圈。哪儿都不送，老兄，为什么？理由呢？你们画家真是奇怪，不遗余力的去追逐名望，但一旦到手了，却好像又弃之不顾。你真是傻，因为世上比被人议论更糟糕的只有一件事，那就是没人议论。这幅画像不仅能让你超越英国所有的年轻人，还会招致老年人的妒忌，如果他们还能动情的话。哎，我知道你会嘲笑我的，他回应道。但我真不想将画送去公开展览。我在这幅画里倾注了太多的自我。Okay, over.